What is going on, guys? And today we are back in the mix. We're playing a brand new mix game on Phenom today. It's called Chop Shop. Basically, it is all of the split pot games kind of rolled into one. We're going to start out here with Stud 8 or better, Drawmaha Deuce 7, PLO 8 or better capped, Badacey A-5, Stud High Low regular, Archie 6-6, Big Easy, which is PLO 6 8 or better, Dramadugi, sorry, Deuce to 7 Razz. I can't even keep up. Chop Shop. Why did they put Deuce to 7 Razz in here? That's an interesting one. It's probably going to be a placeholder for Badeucey. Badeucey, Deuce to 7, limit home on better, Big O capped. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. So, because Deuce to 7 Razz is usually a scoop game. But it is a low game. We will get there when we get there. But as always, if you guys like what you see, please like and subscribe. Questions and comments down below. If you need to get a hold of me, my email is down there below too. You can record up to 1 hour on Phenom playing, send it to me, and I will do the commentary and do some commenting. Choop choop here limps. I'm just going to fold the ace-4-9. If you guys are looking to open a Phenom account, there is a link below. Also, at the same time, you can register and use code LMG. But today, as you can see, we are playing in a little BaseBaldy mix too at the same time. He's also in the game. Let's see here. Let's use that one. All right. So we are going to get right into it. A good friend over here, BaseBaldy. We just did a review session with him because if you're watching this video, it's probably up on YouTube already. We did one of his reviews where we played a mixed game together. But we reviewed about the first hour of his play and some situations that we had discussions about. So I highly recommend going back to that one. 4-5-8 here with 3 high cards. I think I'm going to open this one. Definitely could limp. Going to go with the race here with the Jack, the 9, and the Queen. Catch good for us, even though we do pair against with most likely a high hand. We're still going to be doing some betting here. Expect my opponent really here to have like some flushes, some 1-pair hands. Say flush draws, but now we make 3 pair on the river. So this is basically a bet fold. He makes 3 jacks. So I don't think he had, my guess is on the river he made 3 jacks. I highly doubt, given the fact that he started with a jack up, that he had rolled up jacks. Kind of close whether actually he should raise. I'm not sure. I have a pair on my board. It's kind of close. Like, my board isn't too threatening enough to where he, I think, should just call pre-flop. Or just call. Especially if I have, like, if I'm betting all 2-pair hands. Drawmaha Deuce to 7. This is the best low hand in your hand. So 7-5-4-3-2 is the best. The best high Omaha 5-card limit hand. This game you're going to see rougher draws than we normally would do in Deuce 7 triple draw. Because you only get 1 draw at it. Looking for some suited connectors. If you can get them double suited hands. You know, kind of like your random like 10-9 Deuce 3 rainbow hand is not necessarily the best draw. It's kind of fine to steal in like late position, but something we're not opening from like early position. Obviously, something like a Deuce 3, 4, 7 double suited is an excellent draw. And even some hands that have some connectiveness, double suitedness, anything like that are definitely going to be your strong draws in the Omaha high boards. Two, 4, 7 here under the gun. In a triple draw game, we'd normally open it, but in a single draw game, since we only get 1 draw at it, this is fold. Open all 1 card, 7, 8, 9, some 10s, most likely, depending on the structure of the hand. Definitely a board texture that a lot of stuff can happen because like these middling cards are definitely around the drawing type hands that would call in this situation. 2 diamonds out there as well. Our hand does block a little bit of it, but it definitely can be a kind of an action board, I would say. Your king jack flops in this game are not very action oriented. Now 9-10 makes a straight, so interesting. I think Baldy padded though, so probably 8-6 with like a, probably has like a full house here, I would guess. Maybe a straight with 9-10. It's usually one of those. 9-6. Jack 8. Okay, that makes more sense. He did have 9-10, but he also had Jack 8 for a full house. It's probably all right. That's probably totally fine, actually. Baldy raising here, and even with a 2-card draw, I think this is probably a fold. The reason being is I don't think it's going to check around like every. There's going to be a lot of bet. There's going to still be a bet on the flop. So a lot of times in deuce to 7 Drawmaha, I also think too that if you have a hand where you want to see a flop, usually you have some more information about your hand, but you don't have all your information about your hand here until the turn. And it's usually going to cost you a bet pre-flop and on the flop to see it. Sometimes it does check around, that's for sure. Expect Baldy here to have like a fair bit of jack straights. So like maybe in a king high straight here on the turn. That's usually kind of consisting of what like a pat hand would look like there, especially on this board. We can go look there when he gets there. Interesting. He opens the deuce 3. Oh, this is not what I want. Hold on one second. Twitch. That's my hand history. He opens the deuce 3-6 on the button. Gets called. Draws 1. And I'm not quite sure. There's an ad. I don't really want to see that ad. All right. 2-2, 7, 9, 10 here in the small blind. I think we're gonna go ahead and call this one. Double suited. Maybe we're gonna check call and draw 1, I think. Easy throw away with the deuce. Obviously, we have the 9-high flush draw with the other one. Interesting one whether we want to consider check raising, honestly, but I guess there's some jack 10s in her range, so no pairs. Kind of close. I think I'm just gonna call this one. Draw 1. Stand pat. And we do make the king high straight with a 10 low, so I actually think I'm going to leave this one on turn. I don't expect him to have ace 10 here too much. The river's kind of interesting now because I do make trip 9s. Jack 9 is, I guess, a problem. I think I'm going to check this one. It's kind of close. He does have ace 10. Wow, and then nut spades, and we get scooped. All right. Guess I should go ahead for, well, I think he's still calling with that combo a lot of times, so I don't necessarily hate my play there. Here on the button, we can limp a raise. I think raising this one is fine. This is actually 4-card PLO8. We have not played this game yet, I think, on the channel. This is definitely one of my better games. Here on the button, even with the triple suit, I think raising the button with this is totally fine. And Baldy had it. This is actually a really good example of like some of the hands we run into here. Baldy had like 10-8, 7-6-3, and just really dominating us on like hands that he's just gonna go ahead and bet flop with. Like he should just be betting if he thinks he has the best low hand there. Oh, excuse me. Actually, here on this turn too, he definitely I think should bet with open end straight draw and a 10. Definitely charge any of the draws. Sometimes he's getting free rolled, but I still think he has plenty of equity to bet there. This one is not a good hand.
This does add into the third base stuff.
Going back to that Drawmaha hand, let's see if I can find that one. But I'm pretty sure my, let's see here. Had I have not had the double suited combo here, I think the same. It's just a fold. Sometimes you're just drawing dead. I think Donkey, did Donkey stay pat? I think she did. 1-1. No. Oh, I think she did. Hold on, a second. It's a little small here. Yeah, stood pat. So, you know, sometimes we're just drawing dead there. Even when we catch our basement card, which we did. But don't hate the play thereafter. I don't hate the lead. Because sometimes there we are getting 3/4 against a hand that has a straight on that. We'll even put it back up here. Sometimes we're getting 3/4 on the turn here against a hand that is a king high straight. And usually we don't run an ace 10, but Joke just happened to have the ace 10 of spades. I think his call's totally fine too. So going back, the Queen Jack 8 deuce. This is a very trashy hand in this game. So let's go into the strategy a little bit in this game. Especially with the ante, it's a little bit different. There's going to be a lot of limping in this game. Just like all the other PLO games for the most part. Aces are extremely strong. Obviously, just like 4-card PLO. I don't think there's still not a combination if you get aces in preflop, even in high-low, if you're a dog. So if given the opportunity, then usually you're doing some potting. You're doing some flatting preflop with like your worst. But if this was like a no limit Omaha 8 or better game, then we are doing a fair bit of jamming. Ace deuce 5-8 here with a suited ace against a min raise. I think I am going to 3x this one, just because like this could be a lot. And I have no problem like 3-betting this hand out of position even. Get called. We flop up a really big hand in this game. We flop top 2 with second at low. SPR is about 2.5. So at this sizing here, I think I'm going to bet like half. And if we get jammed, we just get it in. There's nothing really else to do. It does fold. I'd say the board texture there is kind of favorable to both players, but specifically me, I would say, is just a little bit more than him. I don't think the ace hurts one player more than the other. Obviously, I have more aces in my range, but it's not like he's going to have more lowish rundowns when the ace hits. I think I'm going to have a lot of combos. Badacey Ace-5 and Delta 7 right away. Interesting spot here for Baldy. Baldy has probably an easy call with 4-4-3-3 given this pot size and the... Yeah, that's good. And this one's just basically a raise and pat and pray with the 7-4. Plus we have some fold equity too when we stand pat. Excuse me. Oh, interesting. He flops a set. Probably should, he has 2 4s too, so he blocks on the low draw, so he should definitely, just go ahead and, bet pretty big is my guess. And obviously we're hoping for folds here. I mean, theoretically I could break the 7, but I think I just have more fold equity. And like this is the 7th best hand in the game. So this is the equivalent of like making a really good 8-6 and deuce to 7. I think Baldy actually wants to jam turn. I think he wants to go all in, honestly. If Baldy takes 2 again, I'm going to bet. If he takes 1, it's kind of interesting whether I want to check and just realize my equity was 7 low or, yeah, I'm definitely going to bet again because hopefully I can get a fold. Again, like it's nice. In some ways, it's also nice too because I'm blocking a lot of his good 3 cards here that can just call me down. Just hope he doesn't make one of those hands where he goes, well, we're probably chopping here, but I'm going to check raise anyways because usually those hands are going to scoop me now. Oof, good he folded. I'll let you know what he had in a second. Deuce, deuce, 4-4. If this 10 was... Even if this 10 was another deuce or 4, I'd probably open this hand. Still, I think a little bit too light. Solve our world, who knows? Could be good, could be bad. Could be happy, could be sad. We're just trying to be poets today. Again, in these cap games, it's 40 big blind clap. I'm going to see how many cap games there are. I'm not even quite sure how many there are in this one. 1, 2, 3 only. I guess it's just 3. Big O, about 4, 5, and 6 card PLO. 8 or better. 6 cards, a new edition. They call it Big Easy. It's definitely played at the World Series a fair bit, and it's definitely one of the better games, I would say, when you can get into those games, just because a lot of action. Even after all these years, a lot of people have still not figured out the dynamics of like high-low. And so you get a lot of people, getting it in, getting it free rolled. Or Big Easy, it's very easy, I would say, to get in with like top set. And if you're up against something like a wrap and I got him to fold the best hand. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the ace 4, 5. I'm gonna give him a little bit of stuff in me too. Let's see what he's got here. So he does call. And I think calling is totally fine. If he's got an extra blocker or two, I think it's also fine. Oh, wow. Wow. He folded the ace 3, 4, 5 with the 3-card 5. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too tight. Even in 9 doogie here is just a fold. Oh, sorry. That's the wrong one. I folded the 9 doogie over here in Badacey under gun. He is breaking the right card, though, so that's good. No, what are you doing? No, he took 2 again. Oh my goodness. No, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it, Drawmaha. All right. Well, we got another hand. Give him crap. He folded his 6 low? What? Wait a minute. He folded a 6 low and a 3-card 5? No. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, he had me scooped and I folded. Oh my, wow. Oh, baldy. It's all right. We're gonna make him better. You guys, his Twitch channel is BaseBaldy Poker. Go over there. He's definitely doing a lot of the right things for trying to, say, push Phenom. I mean, not only that, I mean, he's just not only a good dude, but he's definitely, I mean, he wants to push poker in the right direction, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a good 3-bet here. 3-bets ace 3, 6 against Joke. Not much going on in our game yet. It's the next game. High roll. Yep, stud, high, low, regular. Archie 6, 6 is an interesting one. And makes Badacey, and he makes 8, 8. This is just a pat pray. Nah, I just got to stand pat with this one. This is one of those hands where, like, a lot of times you want to draw to improve, but this one you really can't. Theoretically do some checking here with an 86, but I think also betting is totally fine. And then, yeah, I would still bet the river with 8, 8. 8, 8's too good. I think you got to bet river. High-low regular. Talked about this one last time. I think it's Circus Mix, but this is basically a split pot game. No qualifier, where the best high hand and the best ace to 5 Razz hand will chop the pot. Aces are the almighty joker in this game because it's the absolute high and the absolute low. And let's see here. We start studying about it. Okay, I'm just looking around, looking at the games. Badeucey here, he's got ace 4 7 9. So this I would open in the cutoff. I would open this hand for. I would open this hand over here in the cutoff for sure. I would break the 9 most likely, but unless like blue took 4. But even then, if blue took 4, my guess is I'm still probably doing better breaking the 7. I think a lot of people. We actually talked about this. If you haven't watched BaseBaldy's discussion with me and with each other, we discussed the fact that like some people just, if someone takes 4 in this situation, I have to imagine that drawing 2 at the ace 4 7 is far superior than keeping 1 at the 9 Badeucey. And a lot of people don't want to because they just were like, oh, I want to draw 1 because they're drawing so many cards. But I'm pretty sure you still have more equity drawing 2 in this situation. And plus you have more playability. And the playability is always the playability is just always so much more important with respect to making more money. Because if you always like stood pat rough, even if you had a slight equity edge, you're almost always going to make more money, even if you're like a slight, if your other play is a little bit better, but you can get more bets in on the pot on later streets. All right, interesting one going over here. Especially the board texture. Baldy gave up, so curious what he had there. He only had to call one, theoretically, one bet, but Donkey might have raised him out. And Jupe times out. Ouch. Because usually you're never doing any folding on a river like that in high-low regular. You're just always calling because your opponent can have such a random range. And unless there was some sort of like random error with the time bank, the time bank automatically kicks in for you. So unless that's we'll keep an eye out for that and just watch the other players just to see if but usually that means Jupe is out of time bank. Well, if he had full house, he was getting free rolled theoretically. Because in this game, if you have aces full against any full house, you scoop. Because your ace is full, well, I mean, quads would, yeah. Yeah, quads is a pair, so yeah, at that point, quads would scoop a full house too. All right, deuce 3-9 here. We're going to go for the steal. Style regular. Most likely going to be heads up. Again, this is kind of very, it's dealt the same way as Razz. So the low always pushes the action. So he makes an ace. So again, he makes like, this is just the almighty card right here. But we're not folding and given the price, we're going to be getting 5-1. But he should bet here almost every single time. And like, even when he checks, I mean, we're just checking back. There's nothing really, so much to do. And when he catches an 8, I think unfortunately we just have to give this one up. So we are done with this one. But again, if I had an ace in my hand, I'm more likely to call because my ace plays high and low. But right now he's beating me technically in both directions. Even if the best low, he's most likely got a draw to beat me. So we are done. What? No. Okay. So I think Baldy raised here coming in, got called. And, he's staring at ace 5-7, which is cards that he all needs from Donkey bet, Jupe called. Like, this should have been an easy, pretty standard fold on 5th Street. It's a little bit too loose. But, he's giving me really good content for the next video, so that's always good news. But he does fold here, so we'll just spoil that one out. All right, Archie 6-6. This is one of the more interesting games that's been brought into the mix the last couple of years. This is actually a game in Arizona that we used to play all the time, but we used to play 9s or better qualifier. So it's slightly different here with 6-6. it is a qualifying split pot game, meaning that you need to qualify on both directions. You need 6s or better to qualify for high, and you need 8 or better for low, just like in Stud 8 or better, Omaha 8 or better, 5 cards, 8 or under unpaired to qualify for the low. If there's 2 highs, the best high will scoop the pot. If there's 2 lows, the best low will scoop the pot. And if there's a high and a low, they always chop. So we'll kind of go over the hand textures and what we're looking for. Like obviously, like a wheel is an extremely strong card. You have the nut low, you have straight. Any sort of straight, honestly, like 8 or under is pretty strong. Usually when you see someone go 3, usually they're drawing high only. So when it goes 1-on-1, usually this hand becomes trips or 2 pair. These are draws. And it really changes the dynamic when you know which way one of the players is going. So we attempt to hide as much as we can what direction we're going. Sometimes there's not much that you can do. But when given the opportunity, you definitely want to hide some of that action. My guess is Baldy had probably a bad low draw. I don't think Jupe should necessarily bet here every single time because it's like blue has probably a lot of draws. Oh, interesting. Well, blue should have probably put a raise in somewhere with aces up. Because when she blocks aces, it's more likely that Jupe has not aces up. And even if she run into aces, I mean, it's just more likely that aces up is better than Jupe's aces up. I mean, I give credit to Baldy actually. Like he's jumping into games that he doesn't necessarily know. He's trying to get everyone involved, showing everyone like these games are out there. And yeah, you know, I've definitely made many mistakes in my career. Folding a 6 low though. What was he thinking? All right, here they had kings up and a 6 low. This is kind of like very, very standardish 2 type of high and low hands that you'll see. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. My bad. Gets that lows with a 210. He's still there with 210s in the hole. That's actually, you see that a fair bit. I wouldn't steal with kings necessarily, but the 210s you could still make a 10 low, and it's still has some strong hands. Oh, interesting here. He actually had jacks and 10s in the big blind. Archie, here we have actually 3-5-6. I'll go back over here under the gun. We fold. If we had 3-5-6 of hearts, we would have played it. Gives us kind of a 2-way hand. So he calls here with jacks and 10s. He actually makes a pretty good read. It is kind of close though whether he should call given the pot size on. Given the pot size, it's kind of close, I would think. I'm going to go back to my hand here in a second. I'm in the big blind with a 3-card wheel with an ace. So, and also, too, we can make like aces up with my hand. We'll go there in a second. So we're going to call and draw 2. I think Baldy did also notice that he took 3. So most likely it's some sort of high pair. No improvement. Do technically improve to a flush draw, though. Somewhat of a flush draw. Still going to call 1, 2, 2. Still going to call. Draw again. 1. And a 2-1-1 spot. We're going to go ahead and check this one. And then again, going back to Baldy's hand. What's the price here? 61. I mean, it's kind of getting close to draw. I mean, obviously we know that blue has aces and 10s, but I think we're going to fold this low draw because sometimes you make the worst low and still don't win. Muck this one. If we made an 8 low, we'd probably just pad it. There also, I think, is more incentive to jam the ace low. And the reason, or like jam the 8 low, because sometimes your other opponent is going high and another opponent could still be going low. So, I mean, they both could theoretically be going high. And if that's the case, then you are pushing a ton of equity on one side. You just want to put as much money in as you can. Even though we have a qualifying hand here with 2/8, this is just still a fold in a small blind against the button open. Yeah, Baldy made a he did make the fold, but it's close when both your players are still drawing on the previous street. So theoretically, he has 4 outs, and he's be getting probably roughly like 9-1, plus some implied odds maybe. And here we can see that there were 2 lows. Blue had an 8, Joke had a 7. He's going to scoop with a better low. Big, easy, capped. Fun one here. All right. Ton of limping in this game. This is a min raise. We're going to call here with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Double, triple. Archie here on the button here with, let's see here, 1 second. Baldy here had the ace 3-5. He should open this hand 3 to wheel with ace. Yeah, that's an incorrect fold if he folds. Flop a pretty big gutter here. Flop a middling wrap with the 2 pair hand and 3 spades. And I'm gonna give myself a little bit of against almost a pot-sized bet on flop. I think we're just gonna give this one up. There's just it's so likely to just get it in here dead. And then Archie 6-6, he actually opens. We'll see this one in a second, but he opens the 4-card 6 with an ace. I think that's fine. But in this game too, if you if you don't have the ace in your hand for the flush draw, it's just very likely someone else has it. Again, like a min raise here. We're just going to call here with the ace 3, jack, jack, 7, 8. Again, double, triple. No suited ace, but against the min raise with this, if he 3x'd it, I'm probably folding, honestly. But against the min raise, I think it's a little bit too much, too close. And we flop up, and we flop pretty bad here, even though we got a low and top 2 pair. 2 backdoor flush draws. Our hand is not necessarily that good. Still gonna go ahead and check this one. Turn's kind of interesting now because we make a live 3 and we have 3 diamonds. I think I'm still gonna check this one back. Like, I just want to kind of take my equity in position, I think, and not necessarily like super bloat a pot. And then on the river, I think kind of the same thing. Like, it's kind of close. Like 4-6 would probably bet from his hand. So I think I'm actually going to bet like, I think I'm going to bet like 3/4 here on the river. And folds. I think I missed Baldy's hand, but it looks like he missed the king, 4, 6, 7, 8. Here's a fold. Looks like Baldy bricked off on the river and bet his, bluffed his, let me see if I can go back and find this one here. Give me a second. In Archie. Go find that one. Yeah, looks like, look at the end of the hand. And it looks like Baldy decided to bluff when he made a 9 on the river. Oh, wrong one, sorry. Bluff on the river here. With the 9, ace 9. And I actually think like his hand is probably just a check. And if like a hand, like if your opponent has like a flush draw or random like low draw that doesn't have an ace in it, you could just like theoretically just check and call. He's like basically targeting a hand that has an ace that makes a better high that doesn't qualify. So he's like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, etc. And a lot of times in this situation, like this is one of the reasons why sometimes you check your high hands when you think you're against a draw, because they can't call anyways. And if they decide to like bluff river, you just call them. But I also think too, like having ace 9 in this situation too, like he actually has some showdown value with ace high. So if he gets bet into, he's probably got one of his worst hands. He can just go ahead and fold it. But if it goes check check, he actually could scoop. So kind of interesting here actually, because oh, not this one, but Baldy actually had the flush draw here too. So we're sharing 5 spades on that board. But me, I like all that. Split pot games are fun. Just a different dynamic to the games. You know, you kind of have to really get involved in thinking like about highs and lows. Oh man, Baldy folded for a min bet. See this? Baldy folded for a min bet with his Queen Jack 6 4 deuce. I mean, you just call. I guess he's in the small blind. It's probably like whatever. Ace King 3 9. If I had kings here, it'd be a little bit different. But I think like this hand is just a little bit too overrated. If I had like if I had like triple double, meaning if I had a 3 suit all different ways, but the nines here are like quite bad. This hand would be a little bit overrated, I think, in Big Easy. So I'm just gonna end up folding. Is that right? That's the business. Sad, stress, stress. So going back just to in between hands here, Balding here on the button has ace, queen, 10, 4, 6, 7. We call this triple double. He can go ahead and just call here. I think calling here is fine. Definitely raise like a triple double. So 3 suits. My hand over here is a fold. I folded the 4 flush. My hand's pretty bad. Oh, wrong one. There we go. But yeah, my hand's not good even for a min raise. So we'll let that one go. And then on this flop texture, I think he just has to fold. Like you're just these type of hands, like these straight draws, even if he's got like a full wrap, they're just so bad. Like you're up against 18 other cards, you know? I mean, it's just very easy to have a 9 dangler in your hand. Blue here has pretty bad aces, which is flat called pre-flop. It's probably okay. All right, Dramadugi. Best Badeucey in your hand. 4-card Badeucey, not 5-card Badeucey. Best 4-card Badeucey in your hand. Folding this one, even though I have a 3-card 6. You're looking to have like dealt Badeuceys in your hand against raises. You know, occasionally you can play like the ace 2 3s, the 3-card 4s that have some convertibility to it, depending on like what other structure the hand is. But I think these naked type of hands are just they're just overrated. So it looks like Baldy called pre-flop and then led the flop, which is kind of interesting. Love this. Interested to see his hand. My guess is it's some sort of like low wrap draw with like 3-card. I mean, like an ace deuce 4 with a 3-card here would make some sense. It's just hard to have that hand. But yeah, I would expect Blue to have like a fair bit of Badeuceys here when she opens. Okay, kind of interesting here with Baldy's hand too. I mean, like this is a type of hand too that Baldy can actually consider like almost like raising as a bluff. I hate to say it. Like ace 2 3 10 8 is fine. Like I would probably consider just limping this hand. Raising's probably okay too, actually. It's just like his suits are just his suits and his connectiveness is like fine, but the fact that it's not like yeah, it's fine open. I think it's totally fine open. And this is really interesting too because like he has the ace of spades on this board. So I don't think Blue should be betting pot into this type of hand. Because when you have that ace of spades, like a lot of times you just have it. So she's basically repping like jacks and 7s or like a set and nut low draw or like maybe a king high flush draw with a couple of like pairs, etc. And let's go back to Blue's hand over here. Blue had the 9 Badeucey with a jack pat. Baldy did have the what was it? The ace deuce 4 3-card and decided to lead. And I think I have to go back to his hand. Now here we're effectively on the button with king king. I'm going to open the king Badeucey on the button. Not great. This theoretically could be a fold too, but I do have a draw. I have a redraw just in case. Get 3-bet call. And I think I am going to ditch the, what are we drawing here? The club and deuce of clubs, unfortunately. Well, let's call and figure out what we're going to do. He takes 2, we're padding probably. It definitely is a possibility. Does stand pat. So we're going to have to break the king for sure. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to break the 8-2. Yeah, we have to break the 8, I think. All right, good luck us. We do not improve. And we're just gonna check fold this one. Do have tens and deuces, unfortunately, but we don't really have any sort of Badeucey equity at this point. It's kind of close, but like again, like his average type of random hand here, I think are just gonna have me crush. So I'm just done. I'll make a note that we did have the tens and deuces. Ace deuce 5 here in the cutoff. I think I'm gonna open this one. We did. This is interesting. So yeah, the ace deuce 4. He did have a heart in his hand, so he needed spades, and no spades were live. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, I think it's fine on his part to go ahead and lead here. This makes some sense. Usually I would want a Badeucey in my hand still, but I think it's kind of an interesting one to consider leading. We win one. Lovely. Flush is no good. Here I think he probably should check. But he does have deuce 4, so he's got a 6 high straight, king high flush draw. 3 cards never good, I think, when blue stands pat, but he definitely has equity in the Omaha portion. I think that's another thing too that a lot of people I was discussing this earlier, but in the Drawmaha games, your hand isn't complete until after the flop. You know, in Hold'em, your hand is complete. Basically, you know, your hand isn't going to change on the flop. You know, the flop will change the strength of your hand, but your hand in your hand is not going to change. I just think it's very interesting that you know, your hand is not completed until after the flop. So a lot of times when someone raises, they're just going to bet the flop. So a lot of times you're not just getting like you're not closing the action and then deciding. This is an interesting one here too with the ace 3-7 and aces. I think I'm going to call this one because I have some high equity both ways, and I can always just break and draw 2 at the ace 3-7 if nothing changes. You get 3-bet, which is not good, but we're going to call. And we're going to check. And we're going to ditch the aces most likely on this board. Got the ace 3-7, that's up. We don't have the ace high flush draw. If the ace high flush draw would be a little bit more different. It would be a little different. We 3-bet me. Interesting. He 3-bet me with the ace 3-5. Kind of actually going back to this hand. Why did it go back to this one? Sorry. And we're going to take 2 at the ace 3-7. Stands pat, so most likely has Badeucey. We make a flush and an ace deuce 3. Just it's a little worrying when he pats his hand because it usually means that he could have some other draw, which a flush is like very likely. The 8's obviously a bad card too because now it makes some of his hands as a full house. I think when we get here with a flush, we just have to call because we're up against so many Badeuceys. But we definitely don't love our hand right now. Yeah, we're up against the flush. He did have a 10 low and a queen high flush, and Donkey made a better Badeucey. All right, here. Deuce 7 Razz, 2 bricks in a hole. Throwing it away. 7-5-4-3-2 is the best low hand. Or it's the best hand in this game. Definitely a little bit of a different dynamic game. Yeah. Wait, get it. It's ideas. Who's there? Yeah, yeah. Good. Sit to say that. Pretty standard bet here by Donkey on the flop. Or, sorry, on 4th Street. And pretty standard bet here by Baldy on 5th. And kind of an interesting street here, but very unlikely Donkey paired that 9. So she's going to bet. And honestly, if somehow she has a worse hand, I think this is like kind of an interesting one to consider, just like barrel and bluffing. And if Baldy has a 9, he should just be, well, if he's got 2 pair in this situation, it's kind of interesting too. If he's got 2 pair, it makes a lot of sense too, because if he hasn't snap called it yet at this point, then, he doesn't even know if he's drawn dead. So that would make some sense. If he's not even drawing at a 9, folding seems very reasonable.
They say that we need a contact and mass at their own music. One of the old said, it's it already.
All right, 2-8-9 here. Most likely we're going to find a play. So 2 8s are dead, which is good for us. Do need a 5. Well, would like a 5, I would say. It's playing pretty slow. Don't know why. Oh, he did have a full house at hand. I didn't even see him have a full house at hand. Yeah, we're going to raise up the ace deuce 9. Everyone folded to us. Didn't you realize we made a full house? But it's very rare for your opponents to have like flushes in this game, because obviously you're trying to make a Badeucey, which are 4 different suits. So when your opponent stays pat, it's usually a bad sign. Jack 3-7 here. We're gonna play this hand 100%. Obviously, this is just most likely gonna be a steal and win, but we do have 100% here. Well, we're gonna play this one too. The boards are running out pretty good. And this is also one like against the limp. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and raise, because the boards run out so well that a lot of times there's not much a player can do. Like my deuce just like catches a low card so often because all the other high cards are dead. Well, we're gonna go for another steal here too. Joke might finally play back at us, but we're still gonna open it. All we have to do is beat the deuce. To have 2 8s on our hand, which probably a card that he needs more often than not. So yeah, he does. So going back to the Baldy hand over here, he does have a 10 in the hole, which makes some sense too, because then Donkey's gonna catch a 9. It's kind of an interesting 4 street card here, because he caught a 6. I have a 6 in my hand, and I do like checking here sometimes, even if I have like strong draws. And then like I have the entire hand that he definitely needs. I could theoretically float here and play trappy, but I think it's just not going to work. Just going to go ahead and give it up. The pot's small. I think it's going to be an expensive bluff, so. All right, Badeucey, 7-5-4-3-2. Best low hand, 5-4-3-2 rainbow. It's the best Badeucey. We'll open this on the button if given the chance, but against a open in front of us, we just fold. Let's see over here. Lemon 08, bingo capped. And then we'll see if we play the stud 8 round. See what time it is. This one's taking a little bit longer, I feel like. Everyone's kind of taking their time. And sometimes that happens, especially in these split pot games. But if we can, we're going to get the full rotation in. $20. I guess. Interesting. Blue did not raise pre-flop. Just drew 1. Could be a trap. Could just be like a low hand with a 2 card. Maybe a rough draw with a 3 card. A lot of times when you see this type of hand from like good players, it's a trap, but it doesn't look like it is in this situation because blue's never put a single raise in. And she folds, so most likely not. All right. Got a little deuce 3. Well, this looks pretty, but it's not. I think I am going to open this one just because of like all the blockers in my hand, given the fact that I have an extra deuce. I can keep the 2-3-7 here as well. Like that's also an option. But we get that one through. I mean, I'm not usually opening and drawing 3 in this position, but I feel like this hand is just still too good to just fold.
Yes, boss. Only.
See Kevin Carahart in the chat down in the Twitch. Kevin's got 4 bracelets, I think all in mixed games.
Fools.
What is Baldy sitting? Baldy's sitting at PL. He really likes the PL06 game. He's an animal that way. Trying to fill the dead space is not my forte, especially without another announcer here on my left. And yeah, Baldy calls over with 2-3-5 and a jack. Seems it must have gone. There must have been a draw for sure. Playing Badeucey, so yeah. Baldy over here in 3-5 in the big blind. It went raise call. I think it's probably one of those spots where it kind of looks like on the surface it's probably not a call. If you kind of do the math, it probably just like makes a little bit of money. 2-8 here in the big. Blocking a couple extra diamonds. I think we're just gonna go ahead and call. Not the best again, but probably closing action is probably fine against these specific ranges. Now, if blue bets, we don't love our hand. Because we also have a player here. And this player here behind us can raise us. So probably make like, I wouldn't say a tight fold, but just kind of a fold. It looks like we make a Badeucey, but we make the almighty pair. Just going to check give up again. Well, we weren't going to check give up the first time, but now we're not changing the suits. We're still keeping them the same. 2-5. Yep. I don't think any suits would make a difference. We're still drawing 2. And we make the 8 Badeucey. So we're going to bet this one and hopefully we get a fold. 2 folds, actually. Yes, it does work. All right, 3, 5, 6. Small blind here. Against the raises is the effective cutoff here. I think we're going to 3-bet the 3 card 6 with an extra blocker. And we draw 2. Wait a minute, where'd Baldy go? He's not allowed to leave. All right, 2-2 out of position, unimproved. We're just going to go ahead and check this one. And we call. Draw 2 again. Interesting she decided, I mean, like, she kind of turned her hand face over here, which is, like, totally fine, I think. Kind of close here, honestly. I think we want to try to go for the Badeucey, saying that she has a better hand than us. I think we want to keep the 10. We prove kind of. Takes 1. Prove to 3, 5, 6 still with the jack. I think I'm calling this one just based off the fact that I'm not quite sure what she could check back here if drawing 1. So if we get scooped, we get scooped. Interesting, we do. I mean, I'm trying to find a hand that I think she would have in that situation where she checks back. So she had a... That's a really interesting one. Gonna go back to the hand history here, so give me a second. Let's see here. On the river. We'll go hand history. And 2, 3. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, like maybe 2, 3, 8, and then caught a 9, and then in between caught a 4. I'm not quite sure because it seems like any 8 Badeucey or even 9 Badeucey there in a 2-2 spot after she led should just bet again. And it doesn't really make too much sense that she would bet in position with like 2, 3, 8, 9 and a 3 card. So, or like 2, 3, 8. I mean, unless it's like turning into a semi bluff, which I'm just kind of speaking out loud. So I'm not quite sure there. Maybe just made a kind of a loose check back. Maybe a tight, I'm sorry, tight check back. My bad. All right. All right, well, he left the game, so I think we'll just finish out the round here to make sure we get every game in. So we got Big O Cap next. And then we'll probably call it because we've been running close to an hour. All right, nice hand here in Limit Omaha 8 or better. Aces 4-7. Don't tell me we get the walk. Don't tell me we get... Oh my gosh, we got the block. All right, we'll take what we can get. One of them days. 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 5 on the button here. Against blue, this is probably the equities are actually quite close between calling and 3-betting. I think I'm just going to call. This is probably a good one to actually consider going for check raise bluffing with the wrap because I have 2 deuces in my hand, so it's unlikely that necessarily she has ace deuce. 2 block a diamond, and now this is kind of just a good card to bluff off, I think. And yeah, definitely have to bluff this one off, so I don't think I have a ton of showdown value with deuces. I mean, that is interesting. River raise? Like, I'm definitely folding my hand. I'm just so shocked that I get raised on this river. I mean, I'm guessing it's representing jacks, but like that seems a run out where I almost never get raised, to be completely honest. So all right, double suited ace 399. Gonna open this one. Easy open. And on this board texture, like we unblock our opponent from having a lot of like the diamonds and the other low cards, but also at the same time too, this is a big blind range. So I'm not too scared about it per se. This turn card having no hearts, no diamonds, and no other low cards, I think this one is probably okay to check back. Plus we have some sort of low potential with the live ace draw. I mean, it's effectively one of the worst cards in the deck. I think we still have to call here with 3 3s though, unfortunately. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, but yeah, we were in bad shape on that flop for sure. But if it was someone who had like flat called us in position, I would say that my hand is I think that we do a lot of checking on that board because we're unblocking. But in the big blind, the big blind range is just so much wider that I think betting is better because we actually get some folds right away. And we can also just get called by really weak hands too, where like a set's doing just fine. I don't think if I had bet the turn that we were getting check raised by that specific combination, but so be it. I mean, obviously the river's really bad for us, but just completing the action, I think we a set has too much equity. Too many random lows, I think, want to bet that river, even like live cards, and we just don't have any. All right, Big O. Basically, PLO 8 or better, but with a 5th card. Still need to use 2 in your hand, 3 on the board. This is a junky hand. Definitely need to make a note. 3-bet a little wider. Because I feel like I've played a fair bit with her in some of the PLO Big O games, even the cap games, and I think her ranges are a little bit wide. Meaning that definitely need to put a little more action in, I believe. Deuce through 4. Interesting, they flip spots over here. Again, we do a ton of limping in this game, and we're going to be limping here. Now, a little bit different, like, usually he can only make it 15, but in this game, if he really wanted to, he could make it 25. So usually where we find some folds, where we find some calls pre-flop here, we got to find a couple extra folds. Here on the turn, we make 9s and 4s, plus we have Deuce 3, and Deuce 3 tends to be the best, I think, low draw more often than not, just because our opponent didn't raise a big blind. So we go ahead and bet that one. Good looking hand here with ace, queen, 4-8. This is definitely a hand we're going to 3-bet double suited. If it was rougher and we didn't necessarily have a wheel card with it, I think calling is probably better. We're going to get some immediate folds with this hand. We're still doing just fine. Double suited. Not the best slot for us. SPR is 1.5. And we unblock the club. And honestly, I think we still got to get this one in. At this SPR, I think it's probably close, but still think we get it in. Yeah, we're up against the draw. And the 9-9 hits there. Oh, man. Oh, boy. I mean, I would have played her hand the same way, too, but we definitely turned a little bit of equity there with the nut flush draw, too. Ace 2-3, 7-8, double triple. Again, this is not an overrated hand, but again, without the suits, it's just not as just don't love it as much. Turn an ace, and again, this kind of hits my range pretty hard. Now we're open-ended, plus we have an ace, plus we have nut low draw. I still think we're calling in this situation. And again, this is a little bit scary considering this Nikita just bets pot, because like this should hit both of us pretty hard. And unfortunately, we miss river. Now, it's kind of interesting whether we want to, like, do we bluff the ace? But given the block bet here, I mean, like, a lot of times this could just be king-king. It's also possible that's the case. I'm going to fold. We do have ace 3 in our hand, so, like, we're blocking, like, some of the low draws they can have. Plus, I don't think we're just calling here with ace 8 high. But I think, is that it? Is stud 8 next? Yep. Probably just going to call it right there. Not running our best. But as always, if you guys like what you see, please like and subscribe. Any questions or comments, put them down below. Email is down below as well. If you'd like to record up to 1 hour in Phenom, you can send it to me. I can do some commentary with or without you. And if you guys are looking to open a Phenom account, there's a link below, or you can use code LMG at sign up. But until then, you guys play well. Go play some Chop Shop Mix. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.